Welcome back. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is facing new allegations.
Officers, and he's just saying that he was under the manipulation, the fear of threat and intimidation.
Based on what you can see here, does this appear to meet the legal standard for excessive use of force?
However, just because you settle a case, you may have an NDA, but if the feds come a knocking, you better answer.
I have learned from sources that investigators have found several weapons inside his homes.
Local story right now in the raid on Sean Diddy Combs' LA residence by federal agents.
Diddy's allegations and controversies. Diddy's been making headlines lately, and not for dropping a new hit track or throwing one of his legendary parties. Nope, it's for something way more serious. A slew of lawsuits alleging some pretty dark stuff against him. Let's break it down. These lawsuits aren't holding back. They're throwing out allegations left and right, accusing Diddy of some seriously heavy crimes and behavior. We're talking about everything from intimate assault to being mixed up in shootings, drugs, and even spiking drinks. It's like a laundry list of criminal activity that you wouldn't want your favorite rapper anywhere near. One of the most shocking parts of all this is the accusations from R&B singer Cassie. She's come forward with claims that paint a picture of Diddy as a controlling and manipulative partner. According to her, he had his fingers in every pie of her life, from her money to her medical records. It's a nightmare scenario, with Cassie alleging that Diddy forced her into intimate activities against her will, leaving her feeling trapped and powerless.
The new allegations against Sean Diddy Combs, a music producer, is accusing hip-hop mogul of assaulting him.
Cassie and Diddy did not detail the terms of that agreement. The settlement quickly shuts down the potential for a trial.
The fact that at the end of the statement that Diddy made, he actually used the word love.
Officers, and he's just saying that he was under the manipulation, the fear of threat and intimidation.
In fact, other people come out and make claims. He may have to resolve those claims as well.
But it doesn't stop there. These lawsuits are dragging up even more disturbing allegations. There are stories about Diddy allegedly pressuring underage individuals into intimate situations and engaging in non-consensual acts. It's like every time you think you've heard the worst of it, another shocker drops. And the implications of all this? They're huge. If even half of these allegations are true, it could spell disaster for Diddy's reputation and career. It's not just about him anymore, it's about the broader culture of abuse and misconduct in the music industry. So, yeah, Diddy's in hot water, and it's not looking like he's getting out of it anytime soon. These lawsuits have opened up a whole can of worms, and it's anyone's guess where it's all going to end up. But one thing's for sure, it's a wake-up call for everyone in the industry.
This is now one of several assault lawsuits filed against Combs in recent months.
Cooperators that are cooperating with them, they're going to be talking to a lot of people about certain criminal acts that he might have committed.
Shown through still photos of what the complainant says they have videos of groping him.
When you arrested Diddy back in the day, what kind of interaction did you have with him?
Combs and his production company, Bad Boy Films. Dozens of agents searched the property for hours, leaving with boxes of evidence.
Federal investigation and legal action. Let's talk about the feds knocking on Diddy's door. The big man's homes in both LA and Miami got a surprise visit from the long arm of the law. And it's not just any old investigation. We're talking about the big guns here, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and the Department of Homeland Security. They mean business. So what's all the fuss about? Well, it seems like there are some pretty serious allegations floating around, including whispers of human trafficking and other shady dealings. And when you've got Uncle Sam sniffing around your properties, you know things are getting real.
By an allegation of sexual misconduct with someone famous, you shouldn't be surprised anymore, but this one's kind of surprising.
Welcome back. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is facing new allegations of...
Based on what you can see here, does this appear to meet the legal standard for excessive use of force?
Burning questions today is, where is he? Where was Sean Diddy Combs while these raids were being carried out at his residences?
I started a case with him. Apparently the search warrant that had his houses in Miami and LA was pre-planned already. They knew they were going to do that.
These raids aren't just for show either. They're part of a broader legal crackdown, with subpoenas flying left and right. They're targeting anyone and everyone who might have been rubbing shoulders with Diddy at his infamous parties. Yeah, that means even celebs like Ashton Kutcher are getting dragged into the mix. And let me tell you, it's raising some serious questions. people are wondering just how deep this rabbit hole goes and who else might be tangled up in it. I mean, when the feds come knocking, you know they're not messing around. So, what's next? Well, it's anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure, Diddy's got some serious explaining to do. And if there's any truth to these allegations, it could mean some pretty rough waters ahead for him and anyone else caught in the crossfire. It's a wild ride, folks, and it's far from over.
Only Sean Diddy Combs, but his associates. This is actually the third lawsuit in as much time levied against.
Officials confirm the raid is tied to a trafficking investigation.
What were those arrests for?
One was the Club New York shooting. He was with J-Lo at the time.
Sean Diddy Combs had an awful lot of armed people invading his house in Los Angeles and Miami this afternoon.
They have a much bigger case. Right now with the guns, they're going to check them, they're going to trace them, see if they were used in any crimes.
Accusations of misconduct and abuse. Buckle up because we're diving into some serious accusations here. We're talking about lawsuits detailing some pretty disturbing stuff, from coercion to straight-up manipulation and even involving underage individuals. Yeah, it's heavy. Former collaborators and acquaintances are stepping forward, pointing fingers at Diddy and his crew. They're not holding back. These allegations go beyond just a few isolated incidents. We're talking about a pattern of behavior that's downright unsettling. And it's not just about what happened behind closed doors. No, we're talking about intimidation, threats, and the misuse of power. It's like something straight out of a movie, except, unfortunately, it's real life. But here's the thing. Despite all the darkness, there's a glimmer of hope. Because by speaking up, these individuals are shining a light on a problem that's been lurking in the shadows for far too long. And maybe, just maybe, their courage will lead to some much-needed change. So, yeah, it's messy, it's complicated, and it's downright heartbreaking. But hey, sometimes you gotta shine a light on the darkness to find your way out. And with these accusations coming to light, maybe there's hope for a brighter future.
That everyone seemed to know and go out and facilitate what Sean Diddy Combs wanted.
I was the hip-hop cop back then, so I had to assist in arresting him in several instances where there were some crimes committed.
Local story right now in the raid on Sean Diddy Combs' LA residence by federal agents.
With all these allegations that are coming out against him and against other people, a lot of people are starting to be very nervous about what's going on.
And I'm certain that if he had his way, he could resolve them all right now.
High-profile individuals. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Diddy's connections to some big names in Hollywood and the music biz. We're talking about the kind of associations that make headlines and turn heads. Now, with all this legal drama swirling around Diddy, it's no surprise that his celebrity pals are getting dragged into the mix. Take Ashton Kutcher, for example. He's not just your average Joe, he's a household name, and his ties to Diddy have definitely raised some eyebrows. But here's the thing, it's not just about Diddy himself. These allegations are casting a wide net, implicating folks within his inner circle and even shining a light on the music industry as a whole. It's like pulling back the curtain on a world that's usually hidden from view.
So what's Ashton saying, Paula, about this friendship and their decades-long relationship?
Here's the deal. Ashton and Puffy, or Diddy, have been friends for decades. She's not saying anything. So here's the deal. She had sued him for trafficking. However, just because you settle a case, you may have an NDA, but if the feds come a knocking, you better answer. He's one of those guys. Remember I did that story last week, like, where are all Diddy's friends? Because the silence is deafening.
And let's be real here. When you've got lawsuits flying left and right and federal investigations breathing down your neck, it's bound to attract some attention. Suddenly, everyone's looking at these high-profile personalities and wondering what they knew and when they knew it. So it's a sticky situation, to say the least. With all this scrutiny, it's hard not to wonder how these prominent figures will come out on the other side. But one thing's for sure, when you're running with the big dogs, you better be ready for the spotlight, whether you like it or not.
A lot of them don't want people looking into their closet, but Ashton doesn't want the blowback.
And security agents converging on the home of Sean Diddy Combs.
The fact, if it's true, that they found a lot of weapons at his homes.
Diddy's ex, Cassie, is cooperating with the feds during this investigation.
100%.
If there's any criminality on those videos, and then they'll go from there.
Implications and consequences. All right, let's dive into the deep end and talk about the fallout from this whole Diddy debacle. Strap in because it's about to get real. First things first, Diddy's reputation. It's taken a hit, a big one. I mean, when you've got accusations flying left and right, it's hard to come out smelling like roses. Public opinion? Let's just say it's not exactly in Diddy's favor right now. People are outraged, and they want answers. And as more details spill out about the alleged misconduct and abuse, that outrage just keeps on growing.
I have learned from sources that investigators have found several weapons inside his homes.
The safety of the individual as well as the safety of law enforcement.
Scene with federal agents rushing into the home here behind me. There were two separate raids.
Decide charges are warranted. Is there any sense of how long that could take after a raid like this?
It's like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up speed and getting bigger with every twist and turn. But here's the kicker. It's not just Diddy who's feeling the heat. Oh no, this whole mess is casting a shadow over the entire entertainment industry. Suddenly, everyone's asking the tough questions about accountability and ethics. How could something like this happen? And more importantly, who's going to take responsibility for it? And let's not forget about the legal side of things. With investigations underway and lawsuits flying faster than you can say courtroom drama, Diddy's legal standing is hanging in the balance. It's like a high-stakes game of chess, with every move being scrutinized and analyzed to demise. Will he come out on top? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the consequences of this whole mess are far-reaching and long-lasting. It's not just about Diddy anymore, it's about the industry as a whole. And if there's one thing we can take away from all of this, it's that accountability matters. Whether you're a music mogul or just a regular Joe, we all need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the music, it's about doing what's right. And if that means shining a light on the dark corners of the industry, then so be it. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.